Hello YouTube, my name is Nero. Today we have some more Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and this video is going to be covering everything you need to know about Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. With this game finally becoming available for individual purchase, a lot of people are wondering, should they buy this game? The focus of this video is going to be teaching you everything you need to know. I know there are a lot of reviews out there for Modern Warfare Remastered, but those reviews are from back in November, and the game has changed a ton since November. We know so much more about the game, and we have a lot more ideas about what the game is actually going to be like in the future. This video is going to hopefully help people who have never played Call of Duty 4 get an idea of what the game is actually going to be like, as well as people who have played Call of Duty 4. I want this video to help you guys out as well, comparing Modern Warfare Remastered to Call of Duty 4 and seeing if it really holds up to the test of time. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video. So Modern Warfare Remastered is a first-person shooter developed by Raven Software. It is a remastered version of the wildly successful and popular Call of Duty 4, which in a lot of ways is the game that set the stage for Call of Duty to evolve into one of the most popular gaming franchises on the planet. If you played Call of Duty 4 back in the day, chances are you had a lot of fun with it and you enjoyed it, but if you never played it, picture it this way. It's a very bare-bones, basic Call of Duty game compared to, say, Black Ops 3. It's pure boots on the ground, the maps are rather big, the kill streaks, there aren't a ton of them. Let's be honest, there are 3 total kill streaks. It's more about gunplay and objective play, and it's Call of Duty boiled down to its most core fundamental values. The visual upgrades of Modern Warfare Remastered are absolutely incredible. In our mind's eye, if we look back in our memory towards Call of Duty 4, in our mind, it was incredible, right? It looked fantastic, and to be fair, for the time it did, Call of Duty 4 looked great back in 2007, but Modern Warfare Remastered did a great job of showing just how far gaming technology has evolved in nearly a decade. The visuals are absolutely stunning. Now, the campaign was recreated beautifully, and it features the iconic Modern Warfare story that we all know and love. We play as Sook McTavish, Captain Price, Paul Jackson, and all the other characters that we remember. If you never played Call of Duty 4, the story is incredible, widely regarded as one of the best campaigns in Call of Duty history, and if you played Modern Warfare 2, or if you played Modern Warfare 3, I would highly recommend trying out this game's campaign, or at least trying out the Call of Duty 4 campaign to see where basically everything started. The gameplay and the story between MWR and COD 4 are identical, but it's the extra things and the attention to detail that really set the campaign apart. There are so many tiny additions to the levels that make them feel more fleshed out and real, while at the same time not taking away from the gameplay or the feel of Call of Duty 4. That, in a nutshell, is the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered campaign experience. It's going to take you 4 to 6 hours to beat. It's definitely a lot of fun. There are a lot of achievements and trophies tied to it, and if you liked Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, I mean, it sets up those stories, it's part of that trilogy, and it's very good to go back and play the original if you guys haven't already. The multiplayer was designed from the ground up to replicate the Call of Duty 4 experience, but it was improved in a lot of ways. For instance, the glitches that you could exploit to get outside the map in Call of Duty 4, well, they no longer work in Modern Warfare Remastered for balancing purposes, obviously, but a lot of the weapon quirks that you remember, they still exist. So if you did play COD 4 back in the day, you remember how good the ACOG M4 the A3 was. It's just as good here in Modern Warfare Remastered. It's still a one-hit kill to anywhere on the body. The AK-74U is basically an assault rifle in submachine gun form. If you try to knife with a silenced G3, it just simply doesn't work right. Ammo types are still a thing. Basically, every single weapon quirk from Call of Duty 4 was lovingly recreated by Raven Software and put into Modern Warfare Remastered to make the weapons feel just like they did back in the day. As technology has progressed, however, game engines and hit detection also improve. So if you do decide to play this game, one of the first things you're going to notice in the game's multiplayer is that the time to kill seems much faster than it was back in Call of Duty 4, and that's because it sort of is. Between the improved hit detection and the already incredibly powerful weapons of Call of Duty 4, the time to kill in this game seems pretty fast, way faster than it was back in the day, but it's important to note that all the weapons in this game are identical to their Call of Duty 4 counterparts in every single way. It's simply the better hit detection that makes it seem like you're melting other people or you're being melted yourself, and it's definitely going to take some time to get used to if you played Call of Duty 4, but if you're somebody that played, say, Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, the time to kill feels pretty much the same. Everything from Call of Duty 4 is in fact featured in this game. All of the original maps, all of the guns, all of the attachments, the perks, the game modes, they are all there. Everything is exactly the same, from the overpowered frag ×3 perk to the incredibly underpowered and useless eavesdrop perk. They're all there. The M16 is as good as you remember. The Uzi is as bad as you remember. The kill streaks are still UAV, airstrike, and attack helicopter. The maps themselves are freaking incredible. It kind of goes back to the campaign, but they look beautiful. I'm showing you guys some side-by-side comparisons here. The maps look amazing. The original lines of sight are still there. The grenade spots are still there. The bomb locations are still there. Even the little quirks still remain, like on certain maps, like a backlot here, for example, being able to capture B from this tin roof. All those little tiny quirks that you may remember from Call of Duty 4 are still there. And if you didn't play Call of Duty 4, well, you're going to have fun learning them. There's definitely a lot of nuance to these maps. They're a bit bigger than you may anticipate if you've never played Call of Duty 4. I would compare these map sizes to, say, Modern Warfare 2. Definitely bigger maps than what we saw in Modern Warfare 3. Definitely bigger than Black Ops 2. And the game itself is a bit more slow-paced, but that's because this is the Call of Duty multiplayer in its most bare-bones, simplistic form. Also worth mentioning, the sound in this game is a bit different than it was back in COD 4. If you played COD 4, you know the footsteps were incredibly easy to hear. You can still hear them here in Modern Warfare Remastered, but they're a bit more difficult, a bit more muffled. The sound of the footsteps is a bit different, but it just takes more time to get used to. You need to relearn how to quote-unquote sound whore in this game. It's still pretty easy to do in Search and Destroy, but more difficult to do in Respawn game modes. I feel so I should put that in here. It's definitely relevant if you're a big fan of Call of Duty 4, and if you didn't play COD 4, then just know that footsteps are relatively easy to hear if you have trained yourself to be able to hear them. That, in a nutshell, is pretty much the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer from a gameplay perspective. One thing is they have added weapons to the game. There are weapons available via supply drops that were not available in Call of Duty 4, which we will be discussing later on, and melee weapons are also a thing, so those are going to change up the gameplay aspects a little bit, but we will be discussing supply drops later on here in the video. Now, from a design perspective, the game itself has actually had a lot added to it. You can almost picture Modern Warfare Remastered to be Call of Duty 4.5, because while it does maintain absolutely everything from the original game, Raven Software has also added a lot of extra things to the multiplayer experience. So if you did play COD 4 back in the day, this is kind of like for you, it's going to be telling you all the differences between this game and Call of Duty 4, but if you've never played COD 4, just take in this all as you can. We're going to be describing many different things in the multiplayer, including how prestiging works, or create class works, so on and so forth. So to start things off here, 10th Prestige is no longer the highest rank in the game. There are 20 prestiges you can go through, as well as 1,000 levels once you hit Prestige Masters. So in theory, you're always kind of continuing to play and play and play. There's never really a stop unless you decide to stop at a particular prestige. You start off with 5 classes like we did back in Call of Duty 4, and if you played COD 4, you remember that 5 was the maximum number of classes we could have. Well, here in Modern Warfare Remastered, you unlock more classes as you prestige, and by the end of it, you can have up to 25 custom classes, which is absolutely incredible. Speaking of prestiging, each time you do so, you can permanently unlock one piece of equipment. This can be a perk, a gun, an attachment, or whatever you want to just have permanently unlocked with your create class. Also, from the create class menu, you can instantly access the new firing range feature to try out your new setup while waiting in the main menu or in a pre-game lobby, or so on and so forth. Raven Software has also added a few popular game modes to the mix, so we have all the original modes, including the unpopular ones like Old School Mode and Sabotage, but we also have new ones like Kill Confirmed and Hardpoint that are playable within the Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer. CAMO challenges now carry over when you prestige. Remember back in COD 4 getting Red Tiger for your MP5, then prestiging, then having no camo for your MP5 and starting all over again? That's no longer a feature. You no longer lose progress just because you prestige, and actually, once you unlock Red Tiger, keep in mind same camos as Call of Duty 4, once you get Red Tiger, you then get a new set of challenges for unlocking even more camos. These challenges are going to be based off of your weapon type, and completing all of them will give you gold camo for your weapon. Unlocking gold camo for every weapon within a category will give you Regal camo, and unlocking Regal camo for every single category will give you Exclusion Zone camo, which is kind of like Modern Warfare Remastered's equivalent of Dark Matter. It's worth mentioning that your secondaries can now have camos on them, which is something we didn't actually see back in Call of Duty 4. Medals have been added to the game, and challenges have been redesigned, so there are a lot more challenges than you may remember from Call of Duty 4. for, and completing these challenges will give you various titles and emblems, which is also a feature we didn't have back in Call of Duty 4. While on the subject of customization, it is time to discuss supply drops here in Modern Warfare Remastered, because they are in fact a thing. They're a big part of the game. So there's a new menu called the Depot, and this is where you can spend money to buy Call of Duty points, which you can use to spend on supply drops, or you can spend your Depot credits, which are an earnable in-game currency, to also acquire supply drops. You earn Depot credits just by simply playing the game's multiplayer. On average, you get between 1 and 3 every single game. It takes 30 of them to get a rare supply drop and 10 of them to get a common supply drop, pretty similar to other Call of Duty games. The supply drops themselves contain characters, reticles, uniforms, calling cards, emblems, weapon kits. Weapon kits are basically cosmetic changes that make your weapons look different, and acquiring them isn't completely based off of luck, because Modern Warfare Remastered's Depot system allows you to build different items by either acquiring that item's prerequisites through supply drops or by purchasing them directly with parts, which are another currency that you get from rare supply drops and as a reward for opening up duplicates. You basically have this build system here, which is also how you get your new weapons. Weapons are part of Modern Warfare Remastered's supply drop system. At the time of this video being recorded, there are 9 total weapons available exclusively through supply drops, not counting all the various melee weapons. Now, the Depot itself is broken up by different events as well as operations. So quickly, operations are basically huge supply drop updates that bring with them new guns, new reticles, new camos, new kits, so on and so forth, being added to supply drops. To obtain content from a particular operation, you need to purchase supply drops from that particular operation. There is no universal supply drop in this game. If you want to get stuff that came out within a particular operation, you go over to that operation and you purchase a supply drop from that operation. There are also big community events that sometimes contain time-exclusive supply drop content. The first and big one was the St. Patrick's Day themed SHAMROCK and Awe event, which has special kits, camos, and melee weapons that could only be obtained via supply drops during that event. Now, at the time of this video actually being posted, there is a new event scheduled to come out tomorrow on June 27th called the Call of Duty Days of Summer, which will likely have its own special camos and kits and so on and so forth. And if you're watching this video in the future after that event has actually started, check out the links down there in the description. It's going to take you to a new video that I have posted that will cover absolutely everything in regards to the Call of Duty Days of Summer event. Speaking of events, Modern Warfare Remastered has a ton of them. So each weekend, an event is held called Weekend Warfare, where they give us a new playlist for the entirety of the weekend that usually is something very fun and interesting, such as snipers only, or shotguns only, or streaks confirmed, but sometimes they go crazy with it. They remade the classic Call of Duty 4 private match game mode Michael Myers and turned it into a mode called Slasher, where one person's running around with a melee weapon while everyone else is just trying to hide from them. You get XP for staying alive, and it's a lot of fun. Another event is called Prop Hunt, which, as you guys are seeing on your screen right now, you hide as various props throughout the entirety of the map and hope not to get found, and it's basically just a bunch of really fun and goofy events. If that doesn't sound appealing to you, it actually is to a lot of people, because whenever Slasher or Prop Hunt are the Weekend Warfare event for a given weekend, it's not uncommon at all to see 30 to 45% of the entire player base playing that one particular game mode because of how much fun they actually are. Raven Software also holds bigger events around the holidays. I mean, back in December, we had an event based around Winter Crash, a holiday-themed snowy version of Crash, which was actually a lot of fun, and they also gave us specific challenges to complete on that map, and by completing them, we would unlock special camos that were exclusive to that event, and once the event was over, you could no longer obtain those camos, which was kind of cool. As I mentioned, the Shamrock and Awe event was around St. Patrick's Day. They took the map Downpour from COD 4, and they revamped it and called it Daybreak. It's now a bright, beautiful Irish version of Downpour with hidden leprechauns and pots of gold all over the map, and of course, their own challenges and camos and so on. And as I said, the Days of Summer event is going to be starting tomorrow, and there's going to be a new summer-themed map, which is assumably going to have its own camos and stuff like that. Once again, if you're watching this in the future, check out the links down there in the description to learn more about the Days of Summer event, because at the time of me recording this, we don't have a ton of information to actually regarding it. It's also worth mentioning that after these events are over, the new holiday maps, as they're called, are taken out of the standard rotation, but you can still play with them in private matches, though it is worth mentioning also that occasionally they put event maps back into the rotation just for the heck of it, apparently. Speaking of private matches, the final thing I would like to cover here are bots are in fact a thing in Modern Warfare Remastered. So if you want to learn the game at your own pace, you simply go to a private match, load up whatever mode you want, whatever map you want, anything, and you can put bots on your team or on the other team. You can set their difficulty and basically have combat training within Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much everything I know about this game. I tried my best to summarize it as quickly as I could. Is the game worth buying? Well, I'm incredibly biased. I love Call of Duty. I love Modern Warfare Remastered. So maybe taking an opinion from me isn't exactly the best opinion. I wanted to make this video so you guys could come to a conclusion by yourself and make an informed decision. I tried my best to be as objective as possible throughout the entirety of this video, covering everything that this game actually is. If you played COD 4 back in the day, I think you will really enjoy Modern Warfare Remastered if you can get over the fact that supply drops are in fact a thing, and you are not going to be able to have access to the new weapons, or maybe you're upset that new weapons were even a feature. Regardless, it's a thing in this game. You're going to kind of have to deal with it if you want to actually play the game. Also, there is a DLC pack, the Variety Map Pack. If you played Call of Duty 4, this was the one map pack in that game. They remastered the map pack. The same maps are available, but it's kind of expensive, $14.99 for some remastered maps. That's also a thing that you can purchase if you buy Modern Warfare Remastered. At the time of this video being recorded, there is no bundle involving the Variety Map Pack. If you buy the game, you're going to have to buy the map pack separately for $15, which is pretty expensive as well. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. And just as a couple of extra things to throw in here, because I couldn't really figure out a way to organically put them in the video, if you played a bunch of old school mode back in Call of Duty 4 and you like doing glitches in a private match, most of them have been fixed, but not all of them. You can't get out of the map or anything like that, but you still can do a couple of them, but most of them have in fact been fixed. And if you plan to play on PC, then I've heard the actual port itself is not all that great. Now, maybe it's gotten better over time, I don't know, but word on the playground is it's not incredible. So take that with a grain of salt. Look up some more PC-focused channels if you have any more questions regarding the port of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered to PC. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.